Hello, welcome to our presentation, Migrant Students Transforming the Landscape of Education in Palm Beach County. We're going to go over the agenda first. We're going to start off by giving you a chance to get to know your presenters. We're going to discuss who are the migrant children. We're going to discuss what is the Migrant Education Program, current demographics about the program and children, migrant children here in Palm Beach County. We're going to discuss a little bit about the barriers and the misconceptions that there are, and how the migrant education program is part of the solution for our students to overcome some of those barriers. Part of the solution is the social services that we provide, and the academic services that we provide for our students and families. We're going to end our presentation with some contact information for you at the end. Again, welcome. My name is Jorge Chegaray. I have the pleasure of working as the migrant manager here in Palm Beach County. Just a little bit about myself. I have many years of experience working in education and in migrants. I started off as a middle school teacher in Pennsylvania, as an English as a second language and math teacher. And recently, in other opportunities, I've worked with the Maine Migrant Education Program, where I actually met a couple of students that travel from Florida to Maine with their families. So I've seen a broad range of programs, migrant programs in the country, and I have the pleasure of working with a great team here in Palm Beach. You will meet two of them, two of our academic advocates. And the first one you'll meet is Ms. Ophelia Rivera.
Hello, my name is Ophelia Rivera. I have a master's degree in reading. As you can see from my pictures, not only am I an advocate for our migrant program, but I also have been a migrant student and a parent. This has helped me to assist and understand our current migrant families. I have used my personal experience to identify, plan, and carry out services throughout our migrant community.
I thank you for joining us and taking the time to learn more about the migrant community. My name is Betsy Smith. I'm a certified school counselor. I work as an advocate for high school students in the migrant education program. My father was a farm worker. He worked in the sugarcane industry, Centrales, in Belgrade. My drive to work looks like the picture on the left on many days. The smell of the burning cane always reminds me of my dad. My dad was bused in from Miami to work in the cane fields in a bus, in a converted old white school bus like the one on the right. I feel a strong connection to the students in this community, and I'm very passionate about helping my students succeed.
So our story begins with giving you an inside look onto who are the migrant children. We have a short video to share with you, and hopefully that we have no technical issues as we show this video.
Estuviera más bien si estuviéramos juntos, no tener que movernos cada rato. Es como empezar otra vez. Es muy difícil porque a veces en las escuelas están enseñando diferentes cosas a las diferentes veces y a veces están repitiendo lo que voy aprendiendo. Él fue el mayor y yo siento que él no tuvo el apoyo. Y él, lo único que miró y que aprendió es que mi papá trabajaba en eso.
Yo nunca tuve a alguien que me ayudara en la casa. Les podía pedir ayuda a mis padres, pero ellos no entendían el inglés.
él sintió que no iba a llegar a ningún lado, no sintió el apoyo del gobierno, nada de eso. Él pensó que él estaba solo y que no iba a poder seguir adelante en las escuelas.
Buenas tardes, don Pablo.
Sí, sí, para ver si me conseguía renta. Y pues mis papás, como no tienen papeles ni licencia, pues uno no anda bien, anda preocupado. Aquí en todas las escuelas te dan 4 clases y en Florida tengo que tomar las 7 para que me den mis créditos. Y pues si empiezo aquí con 4 clases y allá ya no me van a dar mis créditos que necesito y no me van a dejar graduar si no tengo todos mis créditos. Hay posibilidad que sí me quede un año atrasada si no encuentro la manera de agarrar esos créditos, tomar esa clase y pasar el examen. ¿Quieres así o quieres hasta abajo? Pues mis papás se pasan todo el día en el field y nosotros aquí solas. A veces ni los miro cuando llegan en la casa porque llegan bien tarde y ya cuando llego yo, pues a veces tengo que limpiar y estar cuidando a mis hermanas y hasta la noche me quedo despierta haciendo mis tareas y proyectos que tengo que hacer. Ayer fue mis cumpleaños y mis papás no estuvieron, tuvieron que ir a trabajar. No, yo los entiendo. Ellos hacen todo lo que pueden hacer para darnos una vida más mejor que ellos tuvieron. Porque para el otro año no me voy a poder mover, me tengo que quedar en Florida. Y no sé cómo le voy a hacer. Porque mis papás tienen que moverse para seguir trabajando. Y pues mis hermanas se van a tener que ir con ellos. Y lo que me preocupa es quién las va a ver, quién las va a cuidar, quién va a ayudar a mis papás. Que yo ya no voy a estar en Florida. Mis planes yo es seguir la escuela y ser una doctora. Y es poder ayudar a mis papás a seguir adelante para que ellos ya no tengan que trabajar en el sol. No quiero que la educación se me pare, nomás por ser inmigrante. Quiero seguir adelante y quiero ser doctora.
So this story has not really changed since the 1960 documentary called Harvest of Shame. It was a documentary that came out that really exposed the struggles of American farm workers in the United States. It identified, it illustrated the harsh living conditions that migrant children experience in the nurseries and the fields. Their playgrounds were really the fields where their parents worked. This Harvest of Shame documentary from 1960 really also illustrated the academic gap that migrant children experience because of their constant moves with their families. Their literacy rate, the literacy rate among migrant children was extremely high, and 90% of migrant children dropped out of high school. So this initial documentary, Harvest of Shame, unfortunately, has not really changed since the last video that you just saw. The history of the migrant education program really propelled out of that documentary. Betsy, if you can move on to the next slide, please. As part of Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society Initiative, in 1965, Congress passed the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. That law itself helped secure funding and put focus on the need of all children, despite disadvantages that they may have, to ensure a strong and positive educational experience. However, that law did not address the need or the educational gap that migrant children suffer because of their high mobility. So in 1966, Congress amended the Elementary Secondary Education Act to meet the specific needs of migrant students. So that's where our program really was born in 1966 with that passage, with that amendment of the law. The goal of the migrant education program is to assist all migrant students in meeting the challenging academic standards and achieving graduation from high school or GED with the education that prepares them for responsible citizenship, further learning, and productive employment. The end goal is for us to ensure that migrant children, that we're meeting the needs that migrant children have due to the high mobility, so they can all graduate, move on to higher education or productive trades and careers. A little bit more information about the migrant education program on a national level. Historically, there have been 3 streams with migrant education, where families travel up and north to different states along these streams. In Florida, we are really known as a sending state because many of our families leave during the summer months or late spring months and travel up north to states to work in their agriculture fields and crops, all the way up to Maine, as I mentioned, with blueberry, or Michigan in the blueberry. Florida is a sending state for that stream. As I mentioned before, I used to work with ESCORT, which is an acronym for Eastern Stream Center on Research and Training, where we provided support to migrant programs all along that Eastern Stream. Here in Palm Beach, agriculture is a big portion of the economy here. What's really known in Palm Beach County is the sugarcane. Long history of sugarcane. You see some examples of workers out in the fields. You see crop dusters, and actually the burning of different parts of the sugarcane field to help revitalize and keep the field healthy for the next season crops. The next slide, you'll see some information about the agriculture. We have 3 main sugar manufacturing mills here in Palm Beach County. We have nurseries all along the coast side of Palm Beach. We also have equestrian racetracks, training facilities all around Palm Beach County. And another crop or portion of agricultural economy here is landscaping and maintenance here in Palm Beach County. A little bit about the demographics of our students. 62% of our students travel to other states with their parents as they conduct agricultural work. The main states where our families travel to back and forth is Georgia. Again, they go to other counties in Florida, Texas, North Carolina. I did mention Maine and Michigan. 72% of our migrant students are born here in the United States. About 32% are travel back and forth from Mexico, Guatemala. Those 2 are our biggest countries other than the United States where our students travel from. We do also have representation of migrant students that arrive from Haiti, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Brazil, and other countries. With that diversity, if you can please go back. With that diversity, there is a large portion of our migrant students are English language learners, from Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Guatemalan native languages and Portuguese and others. A little bit of breakdown of academics. 42% of our migrant children are elementary level, and 25% are high school students. We do have another population, which is out-of-school youth. Those are young adults under the age of 21 that are in Palm Beach County doing agriculture work, but are not enrolled in school. And one last fact I want to share is 80% of our program exists out in the Glades region. Near Lake Okeechobee, that land is very rich, full of nutrients, perfect for a vast landscape full of different agricultural crops. So there are a couple misconceptions that people have when they hear migrant education. One of the main ones that we hear is migrant students versus immigrant students. And with the data that I pointed out in the previous slide, I hope that you realize that not all migrant students are from countries like Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, or Haiti. Many students are born here, were raised here, are from here in the United States. So there is a misconception that all migrant students are immigrant students, and that's just not the case. And also, that goes along the lines with migrant students in English language learners, ESOL students, ELL. Not all migrant students are English language learners. Many of them are, 62%, as I mentioned, were born here and speak English very fluently, and because English is their first language. Another misconception is migrant farm workers and seasonal farm workers. As you heard from Ms. Betsy Smith, her father was a seasonal farm worker. The difference is that seasonal farm workers work in the field in the counties that they live in, the districts that they live in. Migrant farm workers travel to other districts, other states to look for and perform qualifying work. So those are the children that fall behind. Those are the children that our program is designed to help, because that constant moving to different districts, different schools, puts them at a disadvantage to other students that stay in one district. And one of the barriers that many schools face, many migrant children face in different schools, is the issue with immigration status and proof of residence. Again, there are laws that protect all children's right to a free and public education. Blyler versus the Department of Education is one of them, that ensures all children, regardless of their ethnicity, race, place of birth, have a right to a free public education. We as a program, we never discuss or inquire about a family's resident status when it comes to immigration. But schools sometimes confuse that with the requirements needed for school enrollment, which is a proof of residency. Proof of residency in terms of school enrollment is just a proof that the child lives in the district where they're trying to enroll. So proof of residency is very different than immigration status. And those are part of the lessons learned that we as a migrant program across the country work with our schools to help them understand that and lessen that barrier that many migrant children go through when they're enrolling in school. Along with some the barriers of moving, many migrant children suffer language barriers, lack of healthcare. Many of the work that migrant families do not offer healthcare. So the long hours, the unsafe condition, the housing, the temporary housing, sometimes the overcrowded housing, lack of transportation. Many of the families, many of the parents of migrant children do not have the educational level that's sometimes the last resort is to obtain some of the hard agricultural jobs that they end up working in. These jobs also provide low wages, and these are some of the living conditions that migrant children go through, experience with their families. And because of these living conditions, it takes a toll in their educational success. Migrant students have lower reading scores. Many times they have lower or lost interest in school because of the immediate need to help their family. Many children, as soon as they're able to, end up working in the field to help their family. The low GPA, low attendance. These are some of the educational consequences that migrant children go through because of the harsh conditions that they live in, being part of the migrant community. So the first service that we try to do in the migrant program is identifying who are the migrant children. We have a team of recruiters, of migrant recruiters, that go out and speak with families face to face, in person, and tries to understand what are the migrant experiences, the different moves that may qualify them for the program. Once the migrant staff, the recruiters, determines that they are eligible for the program, they document the eligibility on a state form, which is called a certificate of eligibility. This certificate of eligibility documents that this child or the children in the family are eligible for the migrant education program due to their parents, their guardians' work in agriculture. As I mentioned before, one of the barriers that schools face, or the misconception, is immigration status and the need of proof of residence. In Palm Beach County, our school district accepts the migrant education certificate of eligibility as a proof of residence. So our school district recognizes that many times when migrant families come to our district and relocate or return, they may not have an electric bill or a cable bill that they can show a proof of residence. For our migrant families, this certificate of eligibility is their proof of residence that our school district has accepted as a valid proof for enrollment in school. Other barriers that the migrant education program provides and serves our family are social based. We do have 11 social service facilitators, a parent involvement team. This parent involvement team also focuses on developing parent involvement topics, where we bring in our families once a month to give them information on what is going on in the school, give them information on what the students are learning at all grade levels, so our parents can be informed and become better educators for their children as they are here enrolled in the Palm Beach School District. Our parent involvement nights, our monthly parent involvement nights, also provides meals for families, because our program feels that we need to do everything that we can to remove all the barriers that parents may have when they want to attend our parent involvement nights. So providing dinners, providing childcare, ensuring that our children are safe, our families are fed, helps bring in our families to these events. You'll see here images of past events. If you could go back one more, Miss Betsy, Miss Smith. These are just images of family events where we have our families, our parents also providing feedback to our program through the Migrant Parents Advisory Committee. They provide feedback as to what for us, so we can better develop and develop a program that best meets the needs of our migrant families, our students, and the parents. They help us coordinate and plan out what days to hold these events, what time, what topics to bring. So our parents are really they are our partners in creating a migrant program that best meets the needs of them as parents and their students. The next picture you'll see, as due to the COVID pandemic, we had to reinvent ourselves in how we distribute and how we implement our program. We could not have our monthly meetings at our sites. So what we did is we incorporated virtual parent nights, and we provided educational materials and meals to our families. They had to line their car up curbside and receive the information and the supplemental educational materials that we were able to provide. These are just some snapshots from our parent involvement nights in the past year. Through donations, we were able to, in partnerships and collaboration with community partners, one being the Soup Kitchen in Boynton Beach. We've been able to provide meals to families, donations, backpacks, and educational supplies. This is just illustration of our migrant advocates, our migrant social service facilitators, going to homes and providing those meals and making sure that families know that we are, even though in the past year the access to schools have been limited, but our program still goes out to the community and families to directly provide those needed resources that family need, because we may be sometimes the only resource for them. Now, on the next couple of slides, you'll hear from our advocates on how they provide academic support to our migrant children.
Hello, I'm going to share with you some of the activities that we do as elementary advocates. We provide summer camp, extended learning opportunities. This can be done this has been done in virtual and also at the school. Sometimes we do it in small group, and sometimes we have to do it at one-on-one, depending on the needs of the students. We provide services from kindergarten to 5th grade in our elementary. Our small group instruction, which is our push-in or our pull-out, focuses on K to 2nd. In addition to assisting our students academically, we collaborate with other agencies to assist our students in the dental, vision, or medical needs. This is on a case-by-case scenario. We know that if our students have a medical necessity, it is going to be hard for them to focus or even perform academically. Here are some of the pictures of our activities. We have our pre-K in our summer camp, exploring different colors. We have our small group instruction that's taking place on the left with the students at the table. I am so sorry, that is the wrong slide. But here we have our small group instruction that we do beyond. Did we skip a slide? No?
No?
Okay.
The next slide.
Okay, can you go back again, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry about that. As you can see here, I was going to discuss the pictures. You can see our pre-K students at on the top, and they're working in our summer camp. You can also see in the picture with the black and white, we have a teacher that's teaching from her class, and the student is at home. Although we do have we had the extended learning opportunity at the student's school, because of the need of the student, he needed the one-on-one. And then at the table, you will see the students with at the table, and we're doing a small group instruction here. These are actually 3rd graders, and at this time we were working on sounds. And then the last picture, you will see that we have celebrated our success. And this year we were blessed. So we were, yes, we were fortunate to receive donations to reward our students' hard work. Okay, now the next slide. In addition to providing our pullouts, extended learning activities, summer sessions, we also provide extended learning opportunities through our literacy nights. While our parents are being empowered with information and activities and experiences, our students are also being empowered through small group activities. So their parents come to the meetings and also the students come. And the parents go to their meeting and the students come to their designated areas. In these pictures, you can see that some of our students are learning how to identify letters, some are learning how to identify words, and some are working. Yes, our volunteers are helping us to teach small group instruction. Who knows? Maybe they'll be our future advocates. The next slide, please. Thank you. I'm going to share with you a video of one of our second grade ELOs. Here, the teacher and the student are working together to identify sounds. ELO's teachers have done a marvelous job using technology to incorporate active learning activities. Can you please play the video?
Words with lazy I in them.
I put sun.
Yes, that was good, Joel. Can we think of another one, Giselle and Renato? Sunny. Okay.
I put sunny.
Okay, great.
Okay, can you go to the next slide, please?
Words with lazy I in them.
As part of the program, we have incorporated pullouts or push-ins. Our pullouts consist of small group instruction. These are 12 consecutive hours or more, usually done to 3 to 4 times a week. The sessions consist of 15 minutes of phonics, 15 minutes of high-frequency words, and 30 minutes of reading. I'm so sorry, go back. The pre-test and the post-test is conducted by the schools, by the school and the school's the student's reading teacher. In the picture, you can see that the students are working on their high-frequency words. I do it as a game, so that's me in the picture. I give each student a word for them to read on their own. If they know it, they get to keep it. If they don't, I will tell them the word and let them practice and continue with the other students. When I get back to the student, they should be able to tell me the word. The one that has the most words are the winners, and they get a small treat. Next slide, please. If you're not familiar with the starfish story, I strongly encourage you to take a look at it and read it on your own time. But basically, it's about a little boy that was throwing the starfish back into the ocean, and someone asked, why was he doing this? Did he think he was going to make a difference? There were so many. The little boy picked up the starfish and threw it back into the ocean. He said, I made a difference with this one. I know sometimes we may be overwhelmed with the amount of work that we have in our hands, but if we make a difference with a few students, we are making a difference in our community. The outcome of our small group instruction from the 8 of our first grade students that were needs development status. After 12 sessions were conducted and the post-tests were done, 4 out of the 8 of them were proficient in reading, and 1 was approaching, and the remaining 3 still needed additional support. So we were able to provide that additional support through our extended learning activity. Thank you.
Some of our students start school a little later in the school year, around October or November, and that is the time that they move into the western part of Palm Beach County for the harvest season. They need tutoring to catch up. We found that the traditional tutoring services that are offered by the schools are generally not used by our students because they're offered right after school, and students need to go home or take care of siblings and take care of other responsibilities. So this year we started virtual tutoring in the evenings and weekends. This type of on-demand tutoring services has been more successful because it's more flexible. Another innovative idea we used was that we asked our students to tell us who they would like to have as a tutor. We believe that students know who the really great teachers are. They provided the names and we hired them. Our leadership program is growing and evolving. The pandemic really brought out many of the inequities within the migrant communities. It concerns us that many of the negative stereotypes that are prevalent will have a negative impact on our students. In our leadership club, we give our students an opportunity to use their voice and to make a difference. After a high school meeting where we discussed how to get more high school students to sign up for the SATs, we took the problem to the LAMP students. They decided to use their social media to send out messages to their peers to sign up for the SATs. It was a great project because it empowered them. They can use their voice and platform in a positive way to influence their community. I'm really proud of them. These are some of the messages that they put out on their social media. We take students on college tours every year, and our goal is to expose our students to the opportunities of higher education. They learn about the admissions process, high academic standards, and that they have to maintain, and how to obtain financial assistance through scholarships and federal and state aid programs. Most importantly, being able to experience and see the colleges in person while being around other MEP students throughout the district was a great motivator to keep students working hard and reach their goals of graduation and post-secondary education. I learned an important lesson one year when I had a group of students touring the dorms, and the tour guide that was showing them a dorm that looked similar to this one, she kept talking about how they would have to get used to living in a cramped space and how difficult it is and how you have to get used to living with other people and sharing things like a bathroom and living in a small space. And meanwhile, I knew that for my students, this space was bigger and nicer than anything they had experienced because I'd been in many of their homes and I knew entire families that lived in one bedroom within a small house or mobile home. Since then, I made sure that our tour guides share similar experiences as our students and that they're aware, and that when we go on tours, that we meet with former MEP students during our trips. I want our students to feel comfortable and feel like they belong. Again, our focus in taking students on college tours is to have them actually see themselves there and to picture themselves in the actual college. We make sure that they meet with MEP students or students who share similar backgrounds as them, and students who have overcome the same barriers. That's really important. As you can see, our students set really high standards and goals for themselves, and a lot of them are reaching those goals. They work very, very hard. Our program does everything that we can to provide assistance along the way, but these kids are very strong and very resilient. As the title of our program today suggests, we are changing the landscape for our students. From a future of seasonal travel for work in the campus to a future of attaining their educational goals of graduation in college and career success. Our ultimate goal today as presenters is to promote awareness, and we hope that you've learned to identify and recognize some of the issues that impact our migrant students. We also hope that with a better understanding of our migrant community and migrant students, you will be better equipped to advocate for our students in your schools.
You can always connect with the Palm Beach Migrant Education Program. Right now, we've been working the past year, especially gone through this virtual world. We've been taking it up a notch in our social media presence. We have a Twitter handle and a Facebook handle where you can connect with us and see all the great achievements that our students are doing. It's with Twitter and Facebook, it's at Palm Beach MEP for Migrant Education Program. And as I mentioned before, we did have our parent involvement nights transition to a virtual mode, and we recorded our meetings for our parents because we know that they may not all be available at the time that we had them. So they are there for reference, not only for parents, but anybody who would like to learn what we are empowering and how we're empowering our parents. So you could definitely follow us in our YouTube channel. It's part of the School Districts of Palm Beach Migrant Education Department video. And in the next slide, you'll have our contact information for the Migrant Education Program. We are located in the Lantana, near Lantana Elementary at the Annex Building, the Migrant Education Office, and in the West Technical Education Center in the Glades. You have our contact information, and as Ms. Smith said, we hope that from this presentation you're able to become more familiar with what the Migrant Education Program is and how we're trying to remove the obstacles that our migrant students experience as being part of the migrant world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Stop recording?